Okay, so let's take a look at how you can install ArangoDB for Windows. So what we're going to do is we are going to check arangodb.com, and here at the top you can see button for download. Select that, and when it opens in new tab, what you can do is you can choose the community edition by scrolling and checking this community edition link. Now here you have to choose your platform. See, in my case it's Windows. I'm going to click on it. Okay, next would be we have to choose the type of installer we want. So if you want to manually install, you can choose this zip package and extract it in some place where you wish to use it for path. So I have downloaded this zip file and extracted in directory. Okay, that should look something like this when you extract it, ArangoDB, and inside there are 3 folders: etc., resources, and user. Now user folder contains bin directory. This is where we have all executables. Click on that. Now select the address as text. Okay, now for Windows, search for that environment variables. Type in environment variables and then click on open. That should open system properties, and here you can see environment variables. Click on that. Then here in system variables, search for path. Select it, click on edit, scroll to the bottom, click new, paste it, click OK. Then again click OK, click OK. Now to verify we have this path properly set up, open your command prompt. Now what I'm going to do is open command prompt in administrator mode, so run as administrator, and here what we are going to do is we are going to simply type in Arango. Okay, so there are multiple exes here. You can see ArangoD and ArangoDB. So if you type ArangoDB, nothing will happen. Okay, it will only show you that this is running as some background service. Okay, now second thing we can do is we can run this another command prompt where we can open our ArangoD service. Okay, so basically in first command prompt I used ArangoDB, in second ArangoD. Okay, so here you can see it has created base application directory, and we have to wait for it to say it is ready for business. Okay, so what we can do is go to localhost 8529, localhost 8529, hit enter, and it should show you this web interface. Okay, now here you just have to type it root. There is no password, simply hit enter, and here you can choose the database. Currently only system database is going to be there, so go with that, and you get on to the ArangoDB dashboard. So if you can see this, that means you have installed ArangoDB on Windows. Here we are going to log in with root username, but there is no password, so just log in. By default it logs into _system database. Select that and it will show you the dashboard of current _system database. So if you want to create your own custom database, then you can click on this left hand sidebar database option, and here you can click on add database. Okay, now here I'm setting my username to root. You can additionally add other usernames to it as well. Okay, so we will take a look at that part later, but for now, to create database you have to add some name. So let's see if I name this MyDB, okay, for the sake of simplicity, and we hit on create button. So to understand the hierarchy of this database, basically we have MyDB database at the top, below which we have collection, and we have to create that, and we also need to name that. Okay, inside the collection there will be stored documents. Okay, so if we compare this to SQL database, that will be like database name or schema name, then we have table, and then we have entries. Okay, so in case of NoSQL, we have our database, collection, then documents. So to start off with, we create database, we add its name and also assign one user to that database. So by default this is root. Okay, so we hit on create, and when we do, we have our one database ready and listed here. Okay, and you can configure that by clicking on this gear icon. Here you can see by default the name stays MyDB. We can't change that. We can only delete it or cancel this option. Okay, so currently we don't have much configuration apart from that. Okay, so next thing would be to create collection and then use queries to add our documents. So this is for adding your database into ArangoDB web interface. Now currently you can see in our MyDB database we don't have any collection, so we don't have any documents to view and no queries can be run. So first step for that would be to create a collection. So you select this add collection option. Now here you have first type in the name for collection. So let's say if I go with the my collection option, then type would be document or H. So I'm covering here only the document part. Okay, so I'm selecting document. Then you have advanced option like wait for sync, yes or no, and I can hide that and simply go with two options, one being name, my collection, second being type, document. Click on save. Okay, now once created, you can find your collection listed here. Right, currently it says it has no documents, so you have to click on this add document button to add new documents. For that we will take a look at that part later. So you get the idea. The process for creating collection is first you start your ArangoDB database and then service, then you log into your database and then go to collection section and then click on add collection. So this is how you add new collection in your ArangoDB database, and go to the interface for that particular collection where you wish to add new documents. So here is the collection, and currently you don't have any documents into it. So to add it, you have two methods: one to use queries, and second being using this web interface. Okay, and then click on add as document. Now here you can keep your key empty for auto generated key. So I'm going to do that as my practice from here onwards. Okay, So to have auto generated, you have to leave this blank. So click on that, and here is our current ID, then underscore revision and key as well. Okay, now here you can select node and then keep on adding your content. Okay, and to add new document, we do the same process over. Okay, so here is one more option as well, to use tree or code option. So with code, you get to add JSON data, okay, within these two brackets. So let's say here you add name, then you choose city, make sure to have comma after each entry over there. Only the last entry within your document should not contain the comma. So, and also you don't have to put the last entry if it's numeric into quotes. So let's say this is the numeric data. I'm not going to put it into quotes. Only the string data requires you to add it in double quotes, right? So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to save this. Okay, so the document is saved, and can check the collection, and here you see my first document here is like this. Okay, it has ID my collection 732, then also revision ID and key being numeric data. Now if you check the tree part, you will notice that in tree it becomes a bit harder to edit this data. So what you should do is use the code option to view your data in JSON format, and you can edit from there. Okay, so to add new document, you can keep the key in auto generation and open your document in code format. Just change few names over here and have some change in value in numeric. Let's keep the city as is, and you can remove the previous brackets as well because we already have one when we copied. Okay, so if we save this, document will be saved, and if we go back to collection, here you can see we have our two documents loaded here, and the key part here is auto generated. So unless you specifically need to recognize those keys and extract it basis on the key, then and only then you should be manually assigning those key values over there. So let's say here, if you don't keep it empty, right, for your new document, then for your code you can add some specific values like 1, 2, etc. Okay, so there are also guidance on what to add. Okay, so it's better to leave it auto generated. So click on create. Okay, and let me add one more data. Okay, now click on save. Right, now let's go back and check the collection. Here you can see total 3 entries, 3 different set of records over there. So in your collection now you have total 3 documents that you can even queries or view it in, let's say, command prompt or through web interface. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use insert query in ArangoDB. So first thing, go to arangodb.com, then click on download button and find the community edition of ArangoDB. Okay, so here's community edition, as you can see, and we are going to download this for our operating system, which is Windows. Okay, so there are two installers here, one being your typical server and client tools install, and also there is one zip package for server only and no client tools has it. So I'm going to download this zip package. Okay, and here you can see it is extracted. If we move to user folder, then bin folder, you will find your ArangoD and ArangoDB exe. Now copy the path to this directory and open environment variables. Okay, now open this. What we're going to do is we are going to add this path to environment variables and go to path section. Okay, then edit it and add it here. Once you do that, what you can do is you can open command prompt as administrator. So make sure to open two command prompt instance. Okay, so here is one. Let's open another. Okay, and here in first one I'm going to open ArangoDB exe, and in second I'm going to open ArangoD. Okay, here you can see once it shows you it is on 8529 port, you are good to go. Then we can open in a new tab of our browser. So here let's go to localhost 8529. Okay, you can also check the message that it is listening on that port. Okay, as you can see it is ready. Okay, so just refresh and it should be showing you the login screen where you can add your root username and password. So in my case I have only added root username but there is no password, so click on login button, select MyDB as your database, and here you can see your collection, which is my collection. Okay, now in order to add new document we will be using insert query. So click on this queries from left hand sidebar, and here we are going to use insert keyword. Then we will use this curly bracket. Okay, then we will add custom content. Okay, so we have three fields right now, which are name, city, and say salary. Okay, now we are going to say in my collection. Okay, now what we can do is we can run this query, and here you can see 1 write, 0 ignored. So we added that data. Okay, so let's add a few more. Let's add a few more settings by changing name, city, and salary. Okay, right, let's execute again. One more right. So we have added 2 more entries here. Okay, so let's add one more. let's execute again, and there is one more write. So total 3 writes here that you can view. Okay, in JSON mode it is not showing any output, just shows you success message. Okay, so what we can do to view is we can type in for, then doc in my collection, enter, and then use tab, then use return, then doc. Now execute this, and that should show you a table view for your collection. Okay, so here the new documents at the bottom are visible. You can view them in JSON view or table view. So at the bottom you can see particular entries, okay, that we just added here. Okay, so you get the idea how to install your ArangoDB, how to run query in existing database and then collection, then how to add new documents and also view those documents in your query editor. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use update query in ArangoDB. So first thing to do is go to arangodb.com, then go for download button, and then choose the community edition on that page, which usually is accessible through either this menu or you can use below link, get community edition. Now you have to also choose your operating system. In my case that's Windows. Now for Windows you have option to use either zip file or you can use installer for server and client tools. So the easiest option is using the zip file. Here you can simply download the zip file, then extract to a location, okay, that will have these 4 folders. In user folder, however, you can go and access this bin directory. Now copy that address as a text. Okay, next thing you can do is you can add that path in environment variables. Okay, so open that, then in environment variables search for path, edit this, paste this address, click OK, and then we can open 2 command prompt instance in admin mode. So let's open first one and then the second one. Okay, now in the first one we wish to run ArangoDB first. Okay, once it starts running we will go ahead and also start our ArangoDB service. Now that should allow us to run this web interface on 8529 port. So let's go there. Okay, so here type in localhost 8529. Now we have to wait till it loads the login screen, which takes a minute depending on whether our service is running. Okay, so it may take few seconds. Now here type in root as username, password is blank or empty currently, so don't have to enter. Click login, then choose the database. In my case that's MyDB. Now it should take me to collections. Here the collection is my collections and I'm going to click on it. Now here I have multiple documents. So let's see if I want to update this document, then I'm going to check for a key particularly. So let's say if I choose key with name, let's say 1486. Okay, now what we can do is we can simply edit it from right here. Let's say if I want to edit city, right? So this is the path, and can directly edit it. And if I edit it, we get the option to save as well. Okay, but if we want to run it as a query, we can go to query editor. Now here we use update and then our key 1486. Okay, so once we do that, we can go ahead with keyword with, okay, then we add our update within the bracket. Okay, now here let's say if I want to edit city to something like this. Okay, now we have to mention where this update is going to take place, so we make use of collection. Okay, so usually your key name alone should suffice, so we can remove this. Okay, so update 1486 with this entry. So let's see if that works. Click on execute. Okay, as you can see, the write worked. Okay, so here you can see your update then key number with that particular update has worked. So we can view that. Go to view, collections, then let's see, here you can see 1486 key, city is now updated. Okay, so you get the idea how to update your document with a key value and then update that particular value you wish to edit within document in ArangoDB document. Okay, so let's take a look at how you can use remove query in ArangoDB. So what we can do is click on arangodb.com, then go to downloads page. Here we are going to download community edition, and here you can see the link for community edition. Also you can use the menu link, one of them should work. And you can go to the operating system which you use for installing ArangoDB. Now in case of Windows, you have option to choose from, let's say, zip file and install a file for server and client. Okay, so I have downloaded zip file, and here you can see the extracted content. Okay, so if we go to user, then bin, here you can see Arango D and DB, these two axes we need to open web interface of ArangoDB. So I'm going to copy this bin path and then open environment variable. So type in environment variables, open them. Okay, then find the path. Okay, so here you can see path, edit it, then paste the address and click on OK. After you do that, you can open two command prompts. Okay, now here I'm going to open the second one as well. Okay, in first one I'm going to run ArangoDB, and in second one I'm going to type in ArangoD. Okay, now we have to open web interface on this port 8529. So let's open new tab, type in localhost 8529. Okay, now once it loads, we are going to type in root as username, no password, then select the database, and let's go to our collection, my collection, and here you can see you have an option to remove document simply by clicking on this remove button. Okay, delete document. But if you want to do it through query, just find out which document you wish to remove. Okay, so let's assume I wish to remove this particular key 860. Okay, so I'm going to address it with this key 860, and for that I can write the query, which is going to be remove, and then within bracket I'm going to type in underscore key, okay, key equals to 186. Okay, considering it is not a string, so I'm not using quotes. Okay, and this key is in my collection. So if I execute this, it should show me success message. Okay, so underscore keys to be present in document while executing. So what we can do here in this case is simply go to our collection, and here you can see underscore key 860 needs to be present here, right? So we can directly use remove, and then we can use 860 in my collection. Okay, here you can see it shows one right, that means that key is removed, right? So let's check out collection, and then here you can see that particular document is now removed. So what we did here is simply used that key number within quotes, so we use remove, then that key in collection, and executed, and that key is removed using remove query. Okay, so what we'll do is we are going to query documents in ArangoDB, something similar to select all documents from our collection and display it. Okay, so for that we go to arangodb.com, then click on download. Okay, now for your operating system, I assume that you have Windows, where you can install this community edition. Okay, now here choose operating system. In my case it's Windows, so I'm going to click on it. Right, there are two options here, you can see, one being installer and second being the zip file. So the zip file is what I have downloaded. Okay, now here you can see after extracting this, it has 4 folders, inside which there is user folder. If you go there, there is bean and share folder. So this bean folder is where we have our ArangoDB and ArangoDB service. Okay, simply copy the path up to this folder. Now open your environment variables. Okay, now here we have to find the path, so let's go there, and in path we are going to edit and paste the path. Okay, after that we can click on OK and exit from it. Now we need to open command prompt and run it as administrator. Okay, so basically I need 2 instances of command prompt here. So in one we are going to run ArangoDB, okay, and in second we are going to run ArangoD. Okay, so this ArangoD once started will allow us to run the web interface on 8529 port. Okay, so let's go there. We have to open new tab, then go for localhost. Okay, 8529. Now here you can see localhost or 127.0.0.1 can be accessed. So I just use localhost colon 8529. That should give me the same URL as well. Now here I have to use root username and password is blank or empty, so I don't need to type that. Click login. Now here choose your database and select that and log into your dashboard. Now here you see collection, my collection, and it has 3 documents here. Okay, here you can see. Now these 3 documents can be accessed through our queries. Okay, so for that we will make use of, let's see, for doc in, let's see, my collection, return doc. Okay, now if we execute this query, let's check the bottom for result for the query. You can see you have key ID, revision ID, name, city and salary in table format, and it will show you the result the same way that you can access through your collection section, where you can go to log in. Each time I have to open new tab. Sorry, can change this to MyDB. Okay, now I'm going to compare whether I am getting the same results. So this is the result in my collection, same in our query, but here the format is table form. You can also switch to JSON format by clicking on JSON button right here. So here you get your JSON format for that query. So the query was for, which is in all caps, doc in name of your collection. Then in next line I'm using the tab for a separator, return keyword, and then doc. Here you have execute button. You can hit that and it should give you first 1000 entries here. So in my case that's only 3 right now, so it was quick. I can view this in JSON interface or table. Okay, I can also download this in CSV form or in any other form I wish, along with copy to other editors. Okay, so you get the idea how to run a query for extract your document results in ArangoDB query editor.